no guy has ever broken my heart the way that friendship ending did. Hey, it's me, back at it again with another video that nobody asked for. I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be talking about friendship breakups. Yep, not regular breakups, but friendship breakups, because I have a lot of experience as I've gone through so many in the past few years. So I think I have a little bit of expertise on the topic. Well, not expertise, but you know what I mean. Anywho, I've gone through 4 friendship breakups in the past couple of years, so I'm going to talk about, what happened, what I learned, and how I overcame these friendship breakups. So the first friendship breakup happened right after my freshman year of college. It was between me and this guy that I had known since my junior year of high school, and things kind of seemed to be dwindling between us, and I felt like he didn't care about me anymore. Now, part of me felt like I was being paranoid, but part of me was just getting that vibe from him. So I talked to him. Well, I texted him, I feel like you don't care about me anymore, and he basically confirmed my beliefs, and I was very upset, very hurt by it. Oh, did I say hurt? Very hurt by it. And I said some things that I probably shouldn't have said. I don't even remember what I said. All I know is that I said some things that he wasn't too thrilled about. Then he sent me this giant telenovela. And then I sent him one back, and that was the end of that. Essentially, what I learned from that friendship breakup was that, well, from that friendship particularly, not really the friendship breakup, was from that is not everybody's gonna get your sense of humor, because a part of the reason why he didn't care about me anymore is because he didn't understand my sense of humor. I mean, it's a lot deeper than that, but I think that's definitely a big chunk of it, because all of our conversations were via text, and I would make jokes frequently, and he wouldn't understand the fact that I was joking. I guess, you have to use several laughing emojis after every time you joke, otherwise people don't understand the fact that you're being facetious. And he had the other grievances with me that he graciously threw in my face. Not all of your friends are gonna understand you. I mean, honestly, truly, I feel like if somebody doesn't really get you, doesn't really understand, how good of a friend are they? Let me stop. Some people just might be like, gosh, you're such a kooky old bee. How I overcame that friendship breakup, I remember being sad for a week, talking to a closer friend of mine about the situation, because it was the first time I'd ever gone through it. And I remember I watched a couple of YouTube videos about the topic. I was surprised I didn't find any, because it's not something that is commonly talked about on YouTube, or at least it wasn't at the time. I think there are a lot more videos about it circulating now, but there definitely was not a lot back then. So the next friendship breakup was definitely the one I didn't see coming. The one I didn't see coming at all. But then again, who really sees any friendship breakups coming, right? So there was this girl I was friends with. I had been friends with her since early high school, since about freshman year of high school. She wasn't the best friend ever, but I guess I felt that she would do at the time. I honestly thought our friendship would just dwindle. I thought our friendship would end because we just gradually, slowly but surely stopped talking. But one day she just randomly hits me up in attack mode. We had this huge fight, and that was the end. And honestly, I really didn't see it coming. She just came out of nowhere one day my sophomore year in college, and I was so very blindsided by it, and she really, really attacked my character. And that's the thing that hurt the worst, because while we were still friends, she would continuously make jokes calling me psychotic. She'd be like, you're so psychotic. One time she even looked up a mental institution, closest mental institution, she said it into her phone. Jokes like that, initially I just brushed off, but as time went on, they started to hurt my feelings, but I never really said anything. And I'm guessing that she knew that those things hurt me, because that's how she was attacking me, full force. You think because you've taken psychology as a general studies requirement, you know a thing or two about diagnosing people. You don't know anything. And also, that girl was so fake. One of the fakest people I've ever met in my entire life. I remember one time I witnessed her being fake to another person that considered her a friend, because she didn't consider that person a friend. This person straight up, you could tell, like, if you were an outsider looking in, you could tell that they were friends. But she said, clear say, I don't even like her. You know, she hugged me. I don't like her. And I was like, wow, so you're being fake. You're being fake. And she didn't say anything because she knew I was right. I mean, it was always something I kept in the back of my mind, you know, if she could be fake with this other girl. Who knows if our friendship is even genuine, because for all I know, she could be talking about me behind my back, and I'm pretty sure she was. I'm like 99.9% sure she was talking trash about me behind my back, because the fight we had was over this other person that we both knew, this person that she claimed to be friends with. But it was really funny that she was out here claiming to be friends with this person that she was going so hard and defending. She constantly talked trash about that person to me. Anytime that person would ever come up in a conversation between us, which she would always bring up, she'd always bring up this person, constantly talked down about them, constantly said, oh my gosh, look at this person saw this person saw that, oh, he's a horrible person, da 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 da. Yet, you guys are friends now, yet you're coming to his defense now? Yeah, not the kind of person I need in my arsenal. So, what I learned from that is when people show you who they are, believe them. You know, as soon as I realized that she was a fake person, I should have kept my distance. I should have been like, I'm gonna stay over here, honey, because how I felt throughout the situation was very pissed off for the most part, and for the longest time after that, I questioned my own sanity, because even though I knew she didn't know what she was talking about, calling me psychotic and whatnot, I remember consistently looking up videos about psychopaths and sociopaths to see if I fit the criteria, which I didn't fit it at all. You know, the first two things they said, I'm like, oh, that's not me at all. Because she was trying to call me a psychopath. And then, you know, I asked a bunch of people just to confirm in my mind that there was nothing wrong with me. Because she was continuously telling me, you're so psychotic, you're crazy, you're a psychopath, there's something wrong with you. For the longest time, I definitely questioned my own sanity, because someone was consistently saying that there was something wrong with me. How I got over that? Oh, you know, who cares? I didn't need to get over it because the trash took out itself.
Period, bitch! Period!
Third friendship breakup was definitely the hardest friendship breakup I ever went through, because I cared about this person so very much. The third friendship breakup was a twofer. I actually lost two friends at one time, which was very difficult, but losing this one specific person that I'm going to talk about was a lot harder than the other person. The other person we had a lot of strife throughout our friendship, and there were so many times where I was just like, I'm not being friends with you anymore. There were so many times where I cut him off. But with her, I never had that. You know, we never really had any conflicts ever. So what happened was, I'm not going to go into it because I really don't want to have to relive that experience. She did something that I took as a betrayal. And of course, I was very hurt. I was very angry. I was very sad. And I remember the day it happened, just thinking about this the other day, I had her picture on the wall because she was my best friend. Like, I had a bunch of pictures hanging on strings in my room, and next to it there was a single picture of her. And that day, I remember it like it was yesterday. I took it off the wall, I crumpled it up, and I threw it in the garbage, and then I just broke down. And that was the first of many breakdowns, because I broke down so many times over the situation. I was so hurt. I was so broken. And it took me so long to get over this friendship breakup. So long. No guy has ever broken my heart the way that friendship ending did. It really took a toll on me. I think that day I ended up going into the cafeteria like 4 or 5 times just to eat away my feelings. I remember one time thinking about the situation, I ended up knocking over a whole glass of juice because that's how upset I was about it. It was so hard, and I was so distraught for a very long time. So how I coped with that, oh man, it was a bit of a whirlwind. The month that happened, I was super sad. And then the month after it, I acted like I was happy. You know, I was like, you know what? It's been a month. I'm good. I convinced myself that I was happy. I was listening to positive songs. I decided to love myself. I was just like, yeah, I'm happy. Nothing can hurt me. I'm so over the situation. I'm good. I'm like, I'm good. Chilling, living my best life. I even went to a show that she was in. I mean, granted, she wasn't the only person I knew in the show. I feel like if she was the only person I knew in the show, that would have been weird. But I knew a bunch of other people in the show. And it was at my old school. And so I was going to support them mostly. It wasn't me going to support her. And I was just fine. I was making jokes throughout the entire show with the person I was sitting next to. It was a great time. But then after, I realized I wasn't fine. You know, a few weeks later, I went to another show that she happened to be in. I didn't go to support her. I just went because I wanted to go, and it was free, so. I had so much anxiety knowing that she was going to be in the show. And she came at the very, very end. She was in the very last scene. And I was very anxious. You know, when the show first started, I didn't even know what was going on because I was just so anxious, and I was about to break down. But then I was just like, just calm down. I started watching the show. And then first act ends, second act begins, and as it gets closer and closer and closer to the scene she was in, I start panicking. I start getting nervous. I start literally shaking. And then it came to the scene right before the scene she was in. And by the end of that scene, I was in tears running out of that theater because I couldn't do it. I went to my usual cry spot because it was just so hard. I honestly don't know how I made it through that first show. I guess, you know, pretending does get you somewhere, but that second show, it was awful. I did end up coming back and catching the last few minutes of the scene she was in, and I was literally crying the entire time. I tried to enjoy it, but I'm just like, ugh. I wanted to rekindle the friendship, but she didn't. Which, you know, is fine. She basically told me that because I didn't get anything from me, because she couldn't benefit from being my friend, you know, because no one can benefit from being my friend, I guess. She didn't really want to be friends with me. And, you know, I respected her wishes. I was fine with it. I was very hurt by it. It made me feel like she was saying, well, you're not really worth my time. But I only want to spend time with people that I can gain something from. And I can't really gain anything from you because you have nothing to offer. So, I mean, she didn't say it like that, but that's what it felt like she was saying. And it really hurt. You know, every time I thought I was okay with that situation, I wasn't. I honestly think it took me well over a year to get over that situation. Another way I tried to cope was by trying to replace her. Yeah, legitimately tried to replace her, which is so weird.
All you gotta do is be 5'8", have taken ballet for 7 years at least. And let me call your mom. Don't ask me why, just do it. It's not asking for too much, you know? It's the little things.
I consciously tried to replace her with a girl who is kind of similar to her. Their names both began with the same letter. Granted, I didn't plan that out. I didn't go, gotta find a girl with the name that begins with the same letter. I mean, technically their names don't begin with the same letter because the name I called her was a nickname she went by. It's not her actual name. And this girl, her first name began with the same letter. And this girl was also a dancer, like her. And this girl was also a blonde at the time, like her. And they had very similar physiques and similar-ish personalities. And I'm just like, she'll do. Which is so very silly. I really went through the motions with that friendship breakup. What I learned from that friendship breakup, what I learned was from the friendship breakup specifically that you can't rush the healing process. Believe me, I've tried many times, especially during this situation. Can't do it. And what I learned from the friendship specifically is that sometimes you just value people more than they value you. And I genuinely think that was the case when it came to our friendship. I genuinely think I put her on this pedestal. Like, I put her all the way up here, and I was like, somewhere down near my knees. And I've learned that you shouldn't do that with people. You shouldn't give people a higher place in your life than they give you. Because it's not fair to you, and it's also not fair to them. Because then you put these unrealistic expectations on your relationship, and you end up getting hurt. So the last friendship breakup happened in December. I ended that friendship because I felt like the person wasn't putting in enough effort, which they weren't. I had a lot of ups and downs with this person, and this friendship was ended multiple times. Multiple times. The first time it really ended was during the last friendship breakup I just talked about. Because the betrayal involved that person as well. There were times in the past where I'm like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. But then the next week, love you, you know? And with this friendship breakup, I was really sad and hurt, but I was very done with the person. I was like, you know, I'm done with this person. I'm done with this person. We've had so many conflicts. We just can't be friends. Because honestly, our friendship felt very on and off because of how many times I kept cutting it out. I just felt like we couldn't get along. I mean, we could, but we also couldn't. That doesn't make any sense. It makes sense in my head. Probably won't make sense to you. We ended up rekindling the friendship sometime later that year. We rekindled the friendship late 2018 or early 2019. It was fine. Things were good. We talked. Our friendship wasn't the same, at least in my eyes, and I feel as though in his eyes too, a new thing. We were starting fresh, starting anew, out with the old, in with this new season of friendship. And I decided to cut things off in November. How I felt about the lack of effort, I was very frustrated and hurt because it just made me feel like I wasn't important. Because I'd bring up my grievances with this person, and this person would consistently make excuses. When I tried to tell him, hey, instead of trying to make excuses, why don't you listen to me? The person just took my words with a grain of salt. Didn't really care. And at that point, I was so over. I was just like, at this point, I don't care about losing him. Because back in the day, I cared so much about losing him. Losing him was a nightmare to me. I mean, yeah, I was angry because I felt like my feelings were completely being dismissed. But at the same time, I was kind of just like, I don't really care anymore. And I feel like, the main reason why I cared back then, his friendship meant so much to me, and I really wanted to keep him around no matter how toxic things got between us, is because I had feelings for him. And that's why I was willing to keep him around for so long. If I hadn't had feelings for him, then it definitely wouldn't have been the same. I definitely would have been a lot more like, definitely, it'd be a lot easier for me to release that friendship. Letting go of that friendship was a lot easier this time around than it was the first time around. So, how I overcame it, there wasn't really much to overcome. This time around, the first time around, I didn't grieve it at first. Even though I was very, very, very close to him, I didn't grieve it at first because I was so frustrated and so angry that I was kind of just like. Then, sometime later, it hit me like a ton of bricks and I cried. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never grieved the ending of our friendship because we had, even though it was very toxic on both ends, I'm not going to take 100% of the blame for anything because it wasn't all my fault. Even though it was very toxic at times, I genuinely valued that friendship a lot, especially before the first breakup. And so when it hit me, I'm just like, dang, I am sad that he's no longer in my life. Yo, you didn't hear this from, I really hope he never sees this video, but sometimes I think about him, and sometimes I wish we were still friends. I'm not gonna lie. Because sometimes I'm just like, dang, this would be really cool to show him, or gosh, I wanna show him this thing I just wrote I feel like it's really good. I'm gonna cut this part out. Basically how I overcame it is I decided to move on. What I learned from this friendship is that if you have a conflict with somebody, it's best to do it in person or over the phone, because whenever we had a conflict, we'd always be texting and then it would get real messy real fast. And then another thing I learned is that sometimes you just have to let people go. So if you didn't hate this video, you can like, subscribe, share with your friends, follow me on all my social media accounts, and I'll see you in the next one.
You'll never patch. And who do you save when you're